Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we have a cutie tootie little project. This one is going to create an easy little gift bag. You can make this in real life size, or you can make it the size to go on the front of a card. It can be completely functional if you like, that's up to you. First of all, I'm going to create the background today because I need to let this dry. So this is not the gift bag part, but if you would like to get to the gift bag part and want to skip this, then go through to about the 1 minute 30 mark of this video. So I'm just creating a nice sort of textured background here. I'm actually going to do a white on white with the Wonky Chevron stencil. I just want a nice, relatively detailed background, I guess. And so I have masked off 4 sides of my card just using some low tack tape. I'm using some opaque matte texture paste from Ranger. This one happens to be from Ranger, but my goodness, there are many options out there, and using a palette knife to scrape this on. I always take the mint tape off, or low tack tape, whatever you're using, or even post-it notes or copy paper. Take it off before everything dries. As I said, this was just to create some texture in the background. You could also do the same with a die cut. Like if you had a cover plate, you could do that in the background. If you wanted to, you could do some stenciling with like some really light grey ink in the background. Lots of good options. So here we are going to create the first little gift bag. Now you need a circle for this. So because this is the one that's going to go on the front of the card, it's going to be a smaller version. I'll show you how I make a larger version later on, but I'm going to take just a mid-sized circle, I would say. And if you're not confident with choosing your circle size, then by all means give it a go with some copy paper first, and you'll soon get a feel for how easy and fun this one is. Now this is really easy. I do want to create a couple of handles, so I'm just using the rest of that paper there to create a couple of thin strips. I don't really measure, about 1/4 or so of an inch wide. Then you need to fold your circle in half. If you have directional paper, then you probably just need to check on that and decide which way is going to be the front. Then you're going to take each one of these corners, and you know me, I'm not a big measuring fan, and so I just try and get them to look the same, which is not too hard. It's pretty forgiving. Give these a nice good fold, a strong fold. Use a bone folder if you would like to as well. And to make life easier, you can also fold them in both directions, like fold them to the front, fold them to the back. Then open up your circle and you just simply push in each one of those triangles, like that side, and then push in that side, and then this is the base of our handbag already done. Now, of course, there are more complicated versions of this, but I am not a big fan of measuring, and I'm not a big fan of really complicated projects, so this suits me well. From here, it's a matter of putting on the handles. You can decide if you want the green side facing out or the outside of whatever color you've chosen facing out. You can also add in fun things like a little pocket onto the front of this, which would just consist of, you know, like a little square or a circle, and then just having 3 sides of it that have a little bit extra that you can tuck behind and use that to adhere on, and that can be a little faux pocket or a real pocket. Lots of details like a strap to close it, like a little magnetic closure. That would be fun, depending on the size that you are creating, of course. I just use a little bit of the art glitter glue on here. You could use some double-sided tape. This glue is strong and it dries very fast, and so that is one advantage to using this. At least I can pop the handles on, and then I just try and line up the handles with the first ones that I did as well. Now you could do like little fabric handles, or little plaited thread might look really nice, or you know, you can change it up with the textures that you choose to use. So this is what we've got so far. Now I just want to show you, here's another one that I made. This was made using the largest circle I had in the Infinity Hero Arts set. What I like to do is I like to glue these, not shut, but you'll see I glue the fold in the ends there, and then just give it a second, press it down and let the glue set up. And then I glue the insides to sort of one side or the other. And then I end up with this sort of really nice little handbag. If you want it to open much more, then I would suggest maybe not doing that. So I'll do it on this one too, and so that you can see. I just do one triangle in there, not both, and then I do the outside and then just close it all up, press it up, give it a second to set up, and then this is what you are left with. And that suits me just fine because, as I said, these ones are going on a card front, and these ones, the one on the right is not big enough for a gift card. This is a hotel card, but a gift card is of similar size. You could put it in lengthways, but in case you're wanting a whole nother version, this is the Violet Studio absolutely gorgeous paper pack, the Essentials collection, and I have some ideas for this one. But Violet Studio is like I don't know, I would say it's sort of like a budget level crafting. They're very, very affordable. Even this 12 by 12 pack was unbelievably cheap in comparison to others, of course, and they have some really lovely products, so definitely check them out. I used a plate actually to draw around and get my circle. Now and then I just hand cut it out because I don't have a really large circle cutter, and I also don't have a large die cutting machine as well, but you might have a big one that does the A4 sizes as well, and some bigger dies, but I just draw around a plate and then cut it out with scissors, and then I'm just going to do the same process here where I bend in the sides. I have found that this part is very forgiving. Like, you kind of can't do it wrong, but as I said, if you're not sure about it or you don't want to waste good paper, then by all means do it with some copy paper or some junk mail or a newspaper or something like that, just to get a little bit of practice in and to get a feel for how it goes. Now for this one, I didn't want to use the same handles, so I just used some plain cardstock in as similar as a color as I could find. Not from the same brand, but I think this does do pretty well. And then this one, of course, is going to be really big. Now, you could fit like some treats and a gift card and maybe even like a proper card inside of this little bag. I think that's a really nice little way to give a gift to, like a teenager or a tweens who are in that 10, 11, 12 phase of life. A really fun way to give it to a mum, or like you could do one for a new baby like this, for a mama who just had a new baby, and a gift card that she can get some food ordered or, splash out on something for herself, as well as a nice wee card in here. I think that would be a really cute way of doing it. Just, lots of fun ideas that are out there instead of a traditional little gift wrapped up. And then I just do the same with the sides because just this is the way that I prefer it, but you can leave them open and that gives you far more space, of course. And then this is a really cool, bigger, larger version of the same bag. But let's put together our card now, because this is what I created the original one for. 3 beautiful, cute little bags there. I'm going to take a small banner die. This one is from the Master Layouts 2 from Gina K. I'm going to take my probably all-time favorite stamp in the last 6 months. This is the birthday stamp set from Trinity Stamps, and I'm going to go simple and clean here. This is just going to say a really easy, sweet little happy birthday. In the middle of my white banner, I've got that white texture already down on my card base, and it's drying pretty quick. If you need to give it a little hurry up, you can use a heat gun. Just don't go too close, otherwise you might cause bubbles in your texture paste. But you can lightly go over it with a heat gun if you need to. And then this is just going to create my very simple and easy little card front. Although I was thinking about a little bit of detail for the bag, and I always like having a little bit of tissue paper or decorative element coming out the top. So I was having a search around for anything I could use. I mean, honestly, you could probably use a tissue as well, but I had a little bit of gold tissue paper, and I have a little bit of a patterned one as well. This is all I could find, but I sort of just have a square of it and then gently sort of scrunch it up. I sort of fold it off center, and so that way you get sort of 4 nice little corners, and then give it some little folds. And this one here just wasn't quite right, not quite the right color, but as I said, I'm working with what I've got, and this is what I've got. And yeah, I think the gold is probably my preference between these. I did think it needed to be just a fraction smaller. Honestly, I probably could have gotten away with it now that I'm in the editing stage here, but in my head at the time, I thought it just needed to be a fraction smaller. Pull the ends up all nice and neat because that's the only part that people are going to see. It doesn't matter what's inside of there. I use a little bit of glue to hold everything in place just so I know it's not going to shift or fall out, especially if I include this in with a gift. You don't want it to come apart. You want it to look exactly as you intended. And then pop some glue on the back. And this is going to be our finished card for today using these super quick and easy, no measuring little gift bags for the front of your cards or to hold a gift in itself. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. Of course, I will have links down below and let me know if you have tried this version of creating this gift bag before. See you later. I will see you next time. Bye.